So I got in there and I just went to drop off my vehicle. The guy ahead of me was like this Armenian guy, and he had a Tesla Model S. And he was saying, my wife was driving that car. And it was like, well, what's going on? And apparently, like, they were saying to him, well, you got to rotate your tires, or you have to do um, what is it called? I'm sorry, I just woke up. A tire, an alignment every 10,000 miles. And he's like, but that's not what was told to me. You showed me on my contract where I was told to do a rotation every 10,000 miles. Anyway, long story short, he apparently had some new tires on it, and the tires looked fine on the outside, but on the inside they were wearing. And he was concerned that the tire was going to blow up. And his brother or somebody that was with him too had a car that one of those tires had a, when the radial belt inside of a tire break, it gets like a bubble. I'm sure you've seen that. He said he had a bubble in there, and he was just pissed off. So he was just pissed off. He wasn't listening to the guy from Tesla, and so he just turns around to everyone in the place. He's like, guys, everybody, look at your contract. This is bullshit. You're supposed to do a tire alignment every 10,000 miles. The guy was like, sir, listen, I'm happy to deal with you, but please don't talk to the customers like that. And he's like, if you do, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. He's like, but this is bullshit. You said you're not going to help me anyway. And the guy's like, I'm going to have to ask you to leave and not help you. It was a mess, dude. It was a mess. He was all flipping out on everybody. So yeah, it was.
You should have been that guy. You know what? He's right. That guy is right.
Free service for everybody. No, I mean, the guy was really cool and helped me out. I just took a time while he was talking. I wrote all like my issues out and pasted it into like the group text, put some photos. The guy was super helpful. They gave me a loaner vehicle. So that's
it's cool. 65, VITALY.
65 what?
Yo, are you going from Ontario, Canada?
No, I'm going from New Jersey. So I don't know why it's saying Canada. I'm trying to log into the YouTube.
Canada.
No, wait, no. My VPN.
Nope, I didn't allow that guy into Ontario, Canada.
You blocked.
I just blocked you.
I forgot I am.
That was Tanner.
Guys, even though I've never gotten a super chat personally delivered to my Venmo, I control the Google channel.
Okay, it's gonna happen again. All right, ready? I forgot my VPN is in Canada. Okay, 79.
69, yes.
79. Sorry, Carlos. I was trying to. I don't know why.
No, I see it now too. What is this? Change to your YouTube settings.
I'm trying to fucking update the description, and it's like verify this is you. I'm like, motherfucker.
All right, you've been approved.
It's so annoying, bro. So annoying. Okay, so what? So did that person end up leaving the store for Tesla?
The guy took him outside, and apparently he was like, "Look, we're gonna work this out." And the guy was like, well, just email me the information. He's like, I'm emailing it to you right now. That guy actually ended up helping me, which was like, so I feel like it was good for me, because after that guy, I was tired. I just got out of work. So I was like, hey, I'm having these issues. He's like, yo, let's just tell me all your issues. Let's go outside. Let's look at the car. Blah, blah, blah. I looked at the car, looked at all the issues, took note of everything. And I told him, this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. And he was like, all right, cool. So we'll see.
I have a separate, this is not me, my Tesla service experience, but I was hanging out with somebody, and they have a Model S. And he said it was amazing. So we wanted a tire rotation. It was like 10,000 miles. They had the mobile units. They came over, right?
Yeah.
So imagine the mechanics coming over to do your tire. He looks at the tires. He's like, you guys don't need it. I don't want to charge you for something you don't need. He left.
Yeah. That's smart.
What kind of great mechanic is that?
It's great. No, it's great. It's great. And that's actually a testament to how balanced an EV is, or even though you have the front tires that are doing all the turning, that's usually the ones that wear first. That's why they got to rotate them out. It's a testament to the all-wheel drive of the Teslas, where they don't slip. Because
the Model S 4-wheel drive too?
They're all-wheel drive. Even your Model Y. Even your Model Y.
Yeah,
when they did the rotation on my wife's car, they did the same thing. They bring the two jacks. They jack up one side, then they jack up the other side, and just started flipping.
And what they charge you? I'm curious, for a tire rotation at your house.
Oh, at my house? I'm not sure. It was less than $200.
Okay.
Which still, I honestly, I don't know. I think while the car's under warranty, I don't know if they should charge for that. I kind of.
That's an extra service. That's a maintenance issue. Right? That's not them.
Yes and no. I'm iffy about that. I don't know. I'm iffy about that. I'm iffy about getting any sort of those maintenance charges when you're under warranty. You know, you pay so much for the vehicle. I don't know. I'm iffy on it.
He wants
I don't want to pay
for free.
I don't want to pay. Like I did pay for a repair that was my fault. Technically, we had a flash flood out here, and so the puddles were like, I don't know, 2.5 feet deep. And if you drive through them too fast, the pressure of the vehicle shooting shooting the water out of the wheel wells can sometimes disengage the plastic, like the cover for inside of the wheel wells. And that happened to me on the X. I got home, I blasted through this puddle, and I got home and I had no bevel on the wheel well. And so they had to come and repair it. But I understand that was completely me. If I would have driven at 5 miles an hour, it wouldn't have happened.
Wait,
But
they went to your house and repaired it at your house too?
Yeah, they know the exact model of the car. It's just like
Wow.
it's just a decorative bezel with the ultrasonic sensor, and that was
so
fine.
Has anybody else? I'm just curious. I know Rivian is doing mobile units, but probably not a lot. Is Ford? Is anybody trying to steal that part of their business, doing the mobile units? Ford, GM?
I don't know. That's a good question. If anyone else does mobile service, it makes a lot of sense for the sort of routine maintenance that takes up space in the shop but is very low profit. Right?
Yeah.
Oil changes and stuff like that. You can do that in someone's house. You bring a pan. You know,
have one guy oil changes at the Tesla.
God, that guy, he's so dirty. Maybe they have to work.
All right, so let me
Steve would enjoy that from dividend streams.
Oh,
you get to have an oil change on a Tesla.
You know what Steve's buying? You know the stock he's buying? First of all, let me do a little cowbell for 100 people live.
100 people. Oh,
working our way
we've
back
fallen
up.
off the edge.
We are falling off. We told you guys to bring a friend.
The occasional hand job fell off the Billboard charts. We're done. Working our way back up to 500 on the Zone channel. Thank you to Garcia for the $4.99 super chat. I found out it's 70-30. It's not 50-50. It's 70-30, even though it doesn't feel like it's 70-30. But thank you for the $3.50. Someone's going to
And it's also 70-30 your cut versus ours, isn't it?
And it's also, the big
No. The reason he said it was 50-50 because he wanted to make sure he took more. Yeah. He's like, okay, after 50-50 with YouTube, then we split it 4 ways, guys.
Oh, my God. You know what? When we get to Vegas, I'm handing you guys each an envelope with all the fucking money you have earned.
Have you ever heard of Venmo, buddy? We have Venmo.
You are
It'll be more fun if I record it and I give you an envelope.
Listen, you're operating these payouts like Alex Karp. You are diluting the shit out of us. That's why you do this. You just basically.
I'm going to record live. Me giving you guys your money so you guys can never
exactly. Shit, I'd like to see this live. Anyway, this better happen soon. And also,
why is VITALY at the bottom? Why is VITALY at the bottom? My neighbor is there. You go. There you go. That's my.
I was like, I'm neighbors with Carlos, not VITALY.
Okay.
I like your shirt. Thank you. Someone finally.
Chris likes to be underneath AMIT.
About the shirt. Dude, Chris is underneath me, on top of me, every single which way. That's just what we have.
Bro, let me tell you, fucking Elon, dude, did you really have to restrict Twitter API access this much? Like, I was trying to figure out a way to get everyone's username who replied to that tweet, so that this way, like today, when I just do the winner thing, that I can actually utilize it. And Twitter's locked down. Like I can't scrape the data. I mean,
good free speech. I don't trust you. I don't trust you, man.
I mean, I can still scrape the data because I'm fucking ingenuitive, so I know how to get around.
You were gonna say because I'm Indian. That's what you were.
Well, I am Indian. You can't.
You were gonna say I'll scrape the shit out of your data.
No, what's funny is there are companies that will do it for you, but they'll charge, and I'm like, bro, no, I'm trying to find a free way how to scrape that data.
Wait, Chris, can you explain this? Because none of us know what you're doing, but
okay,
you are doing something called Chris's Treasure Chest. What is this? And
all right, so
it's an OnlyFans.
It's an OnlyFans. Like, what are you announcing?
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I had this idea a while ago to basically reward our watchers, our followers, our subscribers. We built this community together, but without them, we really are just a bunch four guys just talking out of our ass about stocks, right? So I figure one of the
4 guys talking out of our ass.
One of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to give some of it back and use it as, it's kind of like marketing, right? So it's a little bit of marketing where you guys watch us and, randomly I'll pick someone that to get some money. So right now I got Twitter monetization, which I was not expecting. So I was like, you know what? Whatever I get for Twitter monetization for last month, I'll use that and I'll give it away on live on the live stream. So basically, I was originally gonna do it here, but I figured let me do it on my own channel so that this way I can actually share my screen, show everyone what it is, and basically how I'm gonna do it. And then going forward, any of the YouTube ad revenue that we share it and the super chat revenue, my share of it, I'm gonna just create a side fund where every week I'm just gonna give some of it away and just be like, all right, whoever the winner is will get a little bit of money, and it'll be fun. So this way, it's like participation and promotion a little bit.
To be clear,
there you go. You froze on us.
Yep.
This guy can't afford good internet with all our cash.
No, it's back. To be clear, you're saying 1 month if we make 1,000. If we make 1,000 and we split it 250 each, you're saying you're giving the whole 250 away?
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I want to make it fair. So probably like every week I'll do like 25, 25, 25. And then after that, we'll see how it goes. But basically my goal eventually is any of the extra cash that I get, I'm just going to create like a separate account and like a fund. And then hopefully I can actually use that money to like create like a dividend portfolio so that every month after taxes, that additional money it becomes something that becomes self-sustaining, right? The goal is, like Mr. Beast, to create something that's self-sustaining where the viewers watch, I get money, I can use the money to give out better prizes to people so that, our viewership grows. And at the same time, we can actually they can even track some of the investments to say, okay, yeah, they're doing good, or they're, because if I can't make enough to give some of it back, then I'm not really making much, right? So
we're not making anything, Kris. I don't think you understand.
Well, right now we're not. Well, the thing is, actually, here's something that I actually won.
Worse than some of my clients. Like, I'm still waiting to get
right.
Bro, first of all,
he's not even net 90. He's not even net 90.
Like, we need to set up a bill.com.
First of all, you guys keep one thing, Kris, is I kind of think this shouldn't be a you thing. I think it should just be a Finance Junkies thing. We have a little fund where we give away to the audience, because at the end of the day, it's all of our cash. Second of all, you guys don't understand YouTube monetization, bro. Like, this channel is going to take a while to even make $1,000. Like, YouTube monetization is not easy. I know how long I was stuck at 1,500 before I finally scaled it. So if you're expecting big money from this, it's going to take a while.
We also got to this.
Wait. Hold on a minute.
How long it took us to get? You know how long it took us to get to 1,000 subs? I'm saying on.
No, but what I'm saying, unless there's massive super chat.
And now we're
revenue,
making $40 a month, buddy. We're rolling in it.
That's what I'm saying. Unless there's a lot of super chat revenue, ad revenue is nothing unless you're getting at least.
I know, but there is
20,000
super
views.
chat revenue, and it's been going on for like 6 months.
Vitaly, you're gonna get your money, bro.
I'm just
you're, like,
saying.
so stressed about this money, and you're the one who told me to not send it back in February and March. Like, don't.
Well, February was like February was very little. It wasn't worth it. But as soon as it's a reasonable amount,
okay, and just for the
I
audience,
gotta get gas for the pool. It's not free to get the
but
gas.
just for the audience to be very clear, this is not an easy process. I have to go through almost 80 episodes, go through every single analytic for how much revenue we made, add it all up, and then divide. That just takes a long time. So it's not like I'm hoarding the money because I'm keeping it. Like, I just want people to be clear. I'm not keeping $500 from each of you guys because I need $500.
Make a finance.
I hear a lot of noise, by the way. Somebody. Is that
I've said forever. Make a Finance Junkies playlist.
I did that today
on your channel, right?
I did.
And then if you go on there, when you look at the playlist, you should be able to go to the analytics tab and just keep switching video to video and just getting the number.
No, I get it. I get it. What I'm saying is, I just want everyone to be clear. It turned out as a joke like 5 months ago that, Amit's keeping the money because it wasn't a lot. Now, because it turned into like, I think $2,000-3,000, you guys will get the money, but don't act like Amit's hoarding.
Okay, we finally heard a figure. We finally heard an actual figure.
Do you hear what Amit's saying? Amit's saying, like, I want to pay you guys, but it's just like a lot of work for me to like.
I don't want people to think I'm cheap, bro. I don't want people to think I'm
like my Jewish
money
uncle.
No, I don't want people to think that a podcast I built with you guys that I'm so grateful for, I'm hoarding.
I know, dude.
We're totally just like busting your.
Dude, we're busting your. Well, they are busting your balls.
I don't know if Vitaly's actually busting my balls here.
Hey, listen, look, I am busting your balls, but at the end of the day, I expect a Venmo payment. Like that's still the truth. And then Kris is the good guy. He'll send $25 to everybody, and I'll just, I'll pay for electricity.
Yeah, but the way your tone, Vitaly and Carlos, it doesn't make it feel like you're busting my balls here.
No, we're busting those Aladdin-sized balls that you sent yesterday in the group chat. That's what we're busting.
I just hope no one on the podcast thinks that I'm fucking like hoarding. Because by the way,
I don't think anyone thinks that. We're all messing with them.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Because again, if you take an average of $25 over 80 episodes, it's $2,000. 25 times 80, divide that by 4. I owe you guys each $500. Now, I think it's more than that because I got to do the math, but that's the average. Because some days sucked, some days were amazing. Sweet. So for $1,500, I'm not trying to fuck up the podcast. I just want.
Listen, a Russian will kill you for $2. Okay.
That's true.
So one of the initial finances that I got to actually launch this was from something called Savvy Trader. Savvy Trader is basically like this website that you can post all your ideas, and basically as people follow them, And they have like a monthly contest where whoever gets like the most social media followers, they'll give them like 250, and then whoever has the best returns that month will get it 250. So last month I was actually the winner, so I got the CEO sent me like $250. I was like, you know what, fuck this, why not give some of it back to the people who followed me, right? It's like I'm trying to create some fun here. That's the whole thing. I think it's, you guys, I don't know about you guys, but giving money away is so much. It feels
great.
amazing.
It feels great.
It feels fucking amazing. So why not, man? You know, give
And
some of the money back to you
speaking
guys.
of fun, real quick, this is what I sent last night at 11 p.m. to the group chat.
No. We're gonna get demonetized, man.
I'm not getting demonetized over this, bro.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
This is the greatest photo I've seen in my entire life. This is great. This is awesome.
Whatever.
All right. So yeah, so we'll figure out this giveaway thing, Chris. I think we should all do a giveaway. Like, what is $50, $100 a month, whatever it is. We'll figure it out eventually. It'll be fun. Okay. First topic of the day. Let me see what you guys got to think about this.
You can do it where it's one new one for a previous subscriber and then one for a new subscriber. Because like, you know how YouTube tells you who subscribed to the channel? That would be good. Say every week, all the people. I think
a random subscriber. Yeah.
Well, a random new subscriber, because then that
I'm still trying to figure out the logistics of it, like how to do it. But basically, for now, it's just going to be whoever like sends comments, likes on Twitter. The easiest one is retweets on Twitter, because the API, for some reason, that Twitter has does not restrict you to download who retweets you, but it does. Everything else, it's like fucking Twitter's locked it down, dude.
Can't you see that on the analytics page though? Like if you go to your Twitter analytics, you don't see
it'll
that?
tell you are garbage, bro.
Yeah, it'll show you like how many replies you got, but it won't show you who replied to it, and it won't give you any other detailed information. But so you have to create this. Like right now, I'm doing I'm doing a web scrape basically. Right now, I'm scraping the website and
like that
basically
shadow ban page I sent you guys to see if you've been shadow banned.
Chris is gonna get banned from Twitter any day now.
On YouTube, right?
So yeah, it's just Twitter's API used to be so much. Honestly, it used to be free. So basically, there were a lot of people, like a lot of developers, who created applications where all you would do is you just take the tweet, you put it in like the search bar, and then it would just print you out like a CSV of all the replies that you got. And so I was able to get some, like I'll show you guys real quick what I was able to get using
NFTs. That's what we should really launch there.
But I would love to work with a developer to help me actually work.
So your goal is to get the latest follower and give them cash. That's the goal of this?
No. Whoever replies to like the tweet that I put out, or like what is that they call, or retweets, they'll like all these people right here. I was able to scrape their usernames today, and basically they're the ones that I'm going to put into like this contest that they're going to be able to use to
gotcha.
You know, and I have like this little I have this little thing that I created, well, not created, but I found, where basically you can click, and basically like their names are in like a wheel of fortune kind of thing, and then eventually it'll actually land on their name, and whoever it is, I'll end up I'll wait for them to message me on Twitter, and then once they message me, I'm probably going to check to make sure they're not a bot, see if they've replied, or if their account was just created like last Tuesday, because I know how my cousins think. I know you guys. You're probably like, okay, time to get on here, So I'll just have to have like a 2-minute conversation. They send me like either a Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, and I'll send them the money. So right now,
I feel I'm gonna win this one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to news, bro. This giveaway.
I took you guys out, so it can't be.
Why?
I got
subscribe to the Patreon. I'm giving.
I got multiple burner accounts.
Well,
I'm gonna sign up on my burner. I'm gonna fucking win this shit.
He's like, I'm AR VITALY. What are you talking about?
I'm Vision Pro VITALY.
VP VITALY. Check it
Yo,
out.
someone commented on a clip from February about you and VITALY going at it about the Vision Pro, and Carlos was like, "Bro, the Vision Pro's coming," and VITALY's like, "I don't know," and then the Vision Pro came. So it's funny to go back on those old clips.
Oh, it's
What do you mean? Where it came?
It came. The Vision Pro came, and
I can buy it.
Oh well, no, not like that.
Okay.
Right. Well, that's the new. See, he just moved the goalpost. He's like, it doesn't exist.
like
Oh, exists?
Kathy Wood,
Wait a minute.
baby.
Is it? Can I buy it yet? Then when he buys it,
I
do
mean,
you have
technically,
one?
bro, at 3,500, it doesn't exist. That shit is ridiculous. No one's fucking.
Yeah,
wow.
we'll see
We
what
don't
it
have to get back
actually-
into it, but
Let's see
let's
what
talk when it
is
actually
up for.
shows up in the
And
store.
speaking of
and I
which,
can pay.
you know, we've had a video where we did this whole debate, and Vitaly's been sitting on it, saying he's, I guess, doing edits to the video.
He's
I'm
like
holding
gonna
on
do
to
it.
it.
Two
Like, I'm
months
holding
It's
on
gonna
to
happen.
cash.
It's ready to go live on our channel. It was a great video where we had his brother who works for. Can we say who he works for?
I don't know if I can.
Okay, well, he works for a company that we all know and love, a very, very technical, high-tech company, and then Rango. So it was basically myself and Rango on the Apple side, and Vitaly and his brother on the losing side. And so you guys can watch it all live. Go down for like an hour and a half.
The only place we lost in is the stock price. It went up.
What?
All right, I gotta ring the bell because we are now at 200. Working our way back up to the 500s. Erwin Thakur, thank you, man, for being here. First time catching you live.
Time.
If
Thank
you
you all
guys
for being
haven't if you haven't done it, like and subscribe, guys. Help us out here. You know.
Oh, and by the way, Chris, I don't know if you saw, but last week it was kind of quiet that Twitter now allows content creators to get the subscribers' email. Have you seen that?
Yeah. They allow
Okay,
that.
so
It's a big deal.
there's a way where you can, just like when you just tweet out and ask them, there's a button that they can opt in and share their email with you. It's the email account that they signed up with Twitter. So this way, it's Musk basically saying that content creators should be able to leave the platform at any point with their user base and not feel locked into it. So you could get all the emails of the people, and that would have actually be good for us. I actually was going to say we should have an official Finance Junkies X page where we upload.
Yeah, I was
all the
thinking of
videos
creating
and
it
stuff.
soon.
If we
It's
do
not a bad
that,
idea. Not a bad
if
idea.
we do that, that allows us to retweet it, right? And that account will probably get 5 million impressions, even if none of us do. So
yeah,
just throwing it out there. We should have an official Finance Junkies X page.
Okay, let's get into the first news of the day. Apple, Google, and Nvidia are all buying ARM shares. They put in $735 million supposedly on a $4.7 billion IPO. Chris, you said you're not buying it. Everyone on the pod said we're probably not buying it. Why are these big tech companies buying the IPO?
At what valuation? That was not the valuation.
At 50 billion.
Oh, I thought you said 4 billion just now. I was like,
no, they're raising 4 billion because they're selling 95 million shares at a 50 billion valuation.
All right.
I think it's a lot to do with the technology. Like ARM has some really, really good technology behind it and very efficient processors. Let me just show you guys something really quick. This right here is a laptop that I got from work. All right. Core i9, crazy amounts of RAM. Okay. But this fucking thing turns into a hot plate within 5 minutes. And I don't even have that many applications. It's like brand new. It turns into a hot plate. Core i9, really amazing laptop. On the other hand, my Apple, that's my MacBook, that's only about, I guess, 3 years old, has the M1 chip. Never fucking feel a single bit of heat whatsoever. Runs flawlessly. This thing, it's a piece of shit when you compare it. Now, what's the main difference? This is x86 with Intel. This is M1 with Apple. ARM based. That's one of the key things. That efficiency that you get from the ARM processors is just, I don't know. It's just on another level. So
well, the ARM chip has 4 low voltage cores, and then it has high performance cores. Because I even see that I have a Mac Studio. So for most of what you're searching, web browsing, looking at videos, you don't need a high-powered graphics card to do that. You only need that when you're doing a specific GPU thing. So,
but why are they buying at this valuation? You think ARM kind of said, "Hey guys, you better buy some fucking stock," like, you know, because like they supply Google, Nvidia, Facebook with so much of the stuff. You think they kind of give them a nudge?
Well,
like,
remember they only provide the technology. They don't actually provide like Apple designs their own chips that's based on ARM architecture, right? It's not that they go to ARM and say, "Build me a chip." You know, so it's not like that, right? The question here is from a monetization standpoint, just like I said last time with like BlackBerry QNX. QNX is everywhere. Unlike if you go to any car, it probably has QNX in it, right? But for some reason, BlackBerry can't monetize it that much. So that's the key. How can ARM actually monetize this? That's the problem that I'm having with it.
So Rango actually and I had a Twitter discussion, private chat. He basically said ARM it's not a good business, and I think by looking at their financials, it shows it wasn't a good business. But The problem is they don't have anything, like he said, they don't make the actual technology. It's just an API you're basically buying to create what you have to create to build the chips you need to. So he even mentioned that Apple might be wanting to move away from them at some point too, because as soon as Apple can save 20 cents, they're going to try to figure out their own way to do it. So I don't know. I still have to learn more about ARM, but it seems like they are not going to be as profitable as we were discussing maybe a couple of months ago.
And see, this is the thing with new companies when they first get released. This is why you need companies to IPO, because it's almost like an open kimono at that point where you get to see the internals and see if the valuations are justified. So right now the valuations, in my opinion, are not justified with ARM. So a lot of the people getting in, they may be buying at a relatively short top. Then again, that doesn't mean that management can't figure out a way to do better monetization in the future. So who knows?
But so who are the investors up till now? Who have been the investors that have been
SoftBank.
but they've been all
They own 91% of this shit, bro.
right, but it's all been private. And so they essentially funded this. I'm trying to see if it's one of those like that they're dumping on the markets.
Well, NVIDIA, remember, also tried to buy them out at a price that's, I think, comparable to what we're getting right now. But they couldn't get through the regulators because I guess they thought it was like ARM was too important to have to let like NVIDIA control the company. So,
I just think the valuation is really high. And what would it IPO for us? Didn't we say 70 billion? Wasn't it something like 70?
60. It could get there that high. They're saying with 55, 60 billion, it could probably
see. One of the things of the comment I think that Micro's made, like, well, NVIDIA clearly thinks ARM is worth the evaluation because they were trying to buy them. So,
but what was the valuation that they were trying to
40
buy
billion. 40
right,
billion.
40 billion. Yeah. Well, the thing is, remember, there's two things here. Buying the technology versus buying the business are two different things. A lot of times what happens is companies, they look at the technology and they think that they can somehow figure out a way to monetize it better than the company is operating right now. So NVIDIA's goal here is, of course, to make more money. They're not like, oh my God, we're just going to buy ARM and let it sit around. They actually are going to figure out ways to monetize it. ARM, on the other hand, has not figured out a way to monetize. That's the major difference. So whenever you look at certain like things, you have to try to figure out, is this a thing that can be monetized, or is it just a really good product? So the example that I would give is something like, imagine buying a business like a steakhouse, right? They make the best steaks in the world. So if you buy the steakhouse, yes, you're getting the best chef, you're getting the best everything for that steakhouse, but is it something that you can take and put into 50 different states or 100 locations and have the same quality and same thing happen over and over, in which way you can actually make a business out of it? And a lot of times you really can't. Versus hamburgers, which are very simple, but with the core concept right, you can monetize the shit out of it and end up making billions of dollars. So I think that's the key, where ARM right now is like the steak. People have to figure out how to monetize it, make it something that's more I don't know, more scalable, I suppose. But yeah, it's all a business thing. It's all a business thing.
I mean, Google bought YouTube when they had no idea how to even monetize them.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
And they just saw we know we can make this work, right? You just like, I can make this work. You got thousands of people uploading videos. That was back when you could watch it was like Colbert Report at the time. You could watch anything that was on TV the next day for free. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Same thing with like Facebook, right? When Facebook first came out, all it was is just a directory of people and their pictures, and that's it. But the thing is, the key to success for Meta was figuring out a way to how to monetize that by putting in ads and everything else. And that also came down to, remember the discussion with Meta with Eduardo Saverin and Zuckerberg, where I think at one point Saverin early in its life cycle said, I want to run ads. And Zuckerberg was saying, no, I don't want to run ads. And then eventually Meta ended up running ads, right? So the key here is, how does a company end up monetizing, and what kind of potential can they build on it? Same thing with like Instagram. When Facebook bought Instagram for like $1 billion at the time, people thought that was crazy. But how much money do you think Instagram is making for Meta right now? It's nuts.
I think Instagram was 19 billion. 19 billion.
19 billion?
Either way,
it was WhatsApp for 19 billion. Instagram was 1 billion.
Oh, WhatsApp was 19 billion? Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of Facebook, this is a good transition. And before we get to that, shout out to Altec for the super chat. $10. Congrats
$10.
on moving to the new channel, guys. Keep up the great work. He has a really good website called visualstocks.com. The S is a Z in visual. Highly recommend people check it out. I pay for it every month. Great stock screener, and can check out some awesome charts. Meta employees are back in the office 3 days a week as a part of a new mandate. Zuckerberg is like, get your ass into the office. Work from home no more. Vitaly, you're the largest Meta shareholder here. Do you like this move by Zucks, or do you think this
Am I the largest? We didn't discuss that with Kris, but okay. Chris said he has a good position, but I think he sold out a bit recently for Google. Is that right?
I put a little bit in Google. Yeah. Took some Meta off.
So what was your question?
Google.
Do you think it's a good thing for Zucks to be forcing his fancy product managers and engineers to come to the office?
Yeah, I do actually. Because okay, so my background is engineering. I have coded, and it's always been better when you can talk to the group. What sucks about office environments is there's a lot of time being wasted, and there's a lot of meetings and managers always bothering you. So coders do need space, and I think Zuck understands that part. That's why he's only saying 3 days a week. But yes, there is a benefit to being in an office and talking to other engineers, and that's how you solve a lot of problems that are very tricky, especially in big companies. Absolutely. I'm all for all the big companies bringing back their workers. These motherfuckers better stop watching their kids during the day. Go back to work.
Why aren't they in the metaverse with the goggles on in their house?
Whoa!
I mean,
well, they're waiting for the Vision Pro to do that.
Yeah.
Is that the answer?
Isn't that the answer? You just put everybody in a.
Yeah,
that's
not
a good
gonna
point,
work.
though, Carlos. Why aren't these guys in the metaverse?
Why aren't they using it?
That's an idiotic answer. Okay,
No, it's not. That's actually
No, it's not
kidding, but
idiotic.
it's actually
It's
not
real.
an idiotic answer. That's what that's supposed to solve.
Bro, the metaverse, let me say it here on
Okay.
the channel. The metaverse is dead.
Didn't you say it was alive last time you came over to my house?
It was some apps.
He also
were
said he
cool.
was buying one, and he
No, some
said,
apps were cool, but like all of us being in the metaverse, that's dead. That concept's dead, Vitaly. It's
I
dead.
mean, we are in the metaverse. You're just in a different way. It's all
We're
going to
not in
transition
Zuck's
eventually.
metaverse.
But hold on, this is the long-term vision of actually people working and living their lives in that kind of environment. That's not what's happening today. Today, people do need to get into an office and still work together. You can have meetings like this. Like right now, we're being productive. We're talking about interesting things. But at the end of the day, we're still going to meet up in Las Vegas and have an experience. That's still worthwhile.
but
right?
that's different. I mean, bring up Mike.
It's
Mike,
the same thing.
Miracles,
Experiences.
The metaverse was supposed to enable people to not go to the
It's
office.
true.
It's supposed
It's
to
true.
be the way of communicating
fine.
as if you're in the same room.
I'm not going to argue this point again. I've always thought this was the long-term thing and not the tomorrow thing. Not literally tomorrow.
But how long you've been saying? They've been saying tomorrow.
It's been 2
for 10
years, bro.
It's been
almost
long
22 years.
time.
I forgot you're long-term investors. It's been 2 years. Okay.
Bro, but what you think in 2030 people are going to wear a headset and go to work?
I think a lot of people will be wearing a headset in 2030. Absolutely.
I think that if they are, I think it'll be.
I think as the technology improves and it becomes much more easier, instead of looking at shitty 3D characters, which we don't want to look at right now, the tech there is not for standalone headsets to work the way you want it to work. It's not there yet.
It's
going to be there. And when it gets there, just like the iPhone moment, it'll be obvious, but it's not obvious yet. It's going to take some time.
You see, guys, this is a little preview of that very heated Apple versus Meta debate that we had that is going to go live on Freelancer Finance this week, with or without these.
I mean, the fact that you're arguing that someday this will be real is kind of crazy. Like, this is obviously going to be real.
I'm not arguing that it's not going to be real. But what I'm saying is I feel like you keep pushing the timeline further and further out. When
I've always said
it
2030. No. I've always said Meta's undervalued. Meta's going to over $1 trillion. We're almost there, by the way. Did we touch $1 trillion, Chris?
Talking specifically,
I've always said that you're getting the metaverse. You're getting the metaverse for free.
Vitaly has been long term. To his credit,
you're not listening to me. You're getting the metaverse for free because Meta was so undervalued and is still undervalued. It's literally for free, and if it works out, it's another $1 trillion you're getting out of it.
What I'm saying is they've been.
I see no issue here.
He's dumped almost the amount of money that Elon paid for Twitter on the metaverse.
Right, well, we're just going over the same arguments.
They bought.
They seem to be doing okay.
When did they buy Reality Labs?
The thing is, when you were telling me this when they were crashing, you sounded like you were intelligent talking about it. Now the fact that they've gone 3x in a matter of 6-7 months,
zero to do.
It doesn't sound intelligent anymore.
It had zero to do.
It sounds like you missed a massive opportunity.
It had zero to do with the metaverse, bro. It had they just had ads. They just pumping out more ads. TikTok was not as much of a threat to them as possible. I'm saying that the metaverse, this idea that he's been spending all this money,
I always get suckered into this stupid debate.
I don't know. They've been on the front. They've been on the front lines of this thing. It's honestly, it's not.
Put Kris in.
And if you're pushing everybody, I'm sorry, if you're pushing everybody to go back to work when you own a company that is supposed to create the technology that allows people to work from home, work in the office from home, I was partially kidding, but it is actually true that no one's using it, not even them.
It's that's a silly debate, by the way.
Because
all right, well,
it's
the opportunity here is not in either Meta or any of these companies, right? The real
SLG.
opportunities. Well, yeah, it's in the commercial
Google,
REITs.
the real opportunity.
Well, Google too, but commercial REITs right now, leasing rates on Q3, Q4 are going to be exploding. Almost every company, even technology companies like Zoom, have actually dialed back on this work from home scenario.
That's
and
insane.
Saying go work.
If
So
Zoom's making people come back,
right? So right now, a lot of commercial real estate REITs are still trading way below book value, and there's no net additions of new buildings. So regional banks, REITs. The concern with the regional banks was that they have all this exposure to commercial office, but all these people going back to work, leases are being signed up again. And when the numbers for Q3, Q4 come out and the leasing rates are above expectations, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, commercial REITs, that's where we're supposed to be. Well, that's where Kris was fucking 6 months ago when I was telling the same exact thing to everyone. So I say,
I don't know how he went from Meta to REITs, but he did it.
No, he always goes back. He's like, well, where do they have to go to work? In an office.
but he's right. He's right.
No, but that's the conversation.
Well, there's always what he's doing is he's going upstream. He's like, okay, let's go upstream and let's catch the businesses that make money regardless of whichever company.
No, but look, the topic of conversation here was Zuck says Meta has to get its employees back to the office 3 days a week, right? My entire thesis on people going back to work and this work from home thing slowly dying down is starting to come to fruition, right? We're starting to see almost every major company saying, hey, we need to have a physical office presence again because work from home just ain't working like we want it to. Whether or not I agree or disagree with that are two different things. But I'll tell you right now, commercial REITs, especially some that are based in San Francisco that are still really, really undervalued, you may want to pick some up. You know, and you may same thing with the New York City, especially like Vornado and SL Green, they've run up 100% year over year, by the way. Not year over year, 100% since the lows. And that's still way, way under book. And that includes all the dividends that I've been collecting on a monthly basis. I don't know if you guys bought any SLG, but me and my Patreon people have been.
I own that's the only REIT, and maybe some others. And actually, I own what is it? What is the Vanguard REIT ETF? I own that one as well. You know, Kris, or no? VNQ. I think it's VNQ. So I own a lot of O and actually VNQ. That's the REITs that I have. But in terms of work from home, by the way, yes, people are going back into the office. Not all of them though. So there is a problem. Yes, like I was just hanging out with a guy who works in a hedge fund. He said, we're not going back to the office. He said, well, the fact I moved out to where I'm living right now is because I don't have to come into the office at all, basically. So not everybody is going back. But having said that, I have another tenant who works at Google, and she said they're making them go back in Manhattan to the office now. So she has to go, I think, 3 days a week in when it was used to be 0 for COVID. Now it's 3 days a week.
So I was in.
That's a more reasonable commute, though.
I was in the city last week, and so let me tell you, Monday. Actually, I wasn't there Monday. I got there Tuesday. Tuesday, the city was packed. Trains were packed. L train, F train, everything was packed. Like the commute was just literally pre-pandemic. The one caveat, though, Friday was dead. Friday, like I actually was able to get on, and it wasn't that bad. So. The whole thing with 3 days a week is starting to happen, but even Fridays are starting to come back. Goldman, Citadel, JP Morgan Chase.
Was that the Friday before Labor Day?
Yeah. That could be it. That could be an impact.
Everybody left Thursday on Friday. Yeah.
The thing is, Goldman, Citadel, JP Morgan, they're all calling back workers 5 days a week. The city itself is just bustling. So right now, there are still REITs in New York City that are trading at 60 cents on the dollar on total assets. So all you need is for leasing rates to go back to where they were pre-pandemic, which I think they're going to happen within the next year. And you can see these companies go from $30, $40 to $70, $80, maybe even $100, depending on which one you pick. So, you know, like I said, if you're on my Patreon, I'm going to probably put a post on it tonight and just say, okay, these are the companies that are going to benefit the most. These are the ones that are probably going to, you know, be a little bit more lagging. Like San Francisco has been, like the REITs over there have been lagging, but I think those are the ones that are actually going to be better value propositions because they haven't recovered nearly as much as the ones in New York City and Boston. and Austin.
Okay. We got two cinematographers on the panel, so I want to pull their take on this question. Here's Aaron Paul talking about why he's on strike.
I don't get a piece from Netflix on Breaking Bad, to be totally honest, and that's insane to me. You know what I mean? Like, shows live forever on these streamers, and it goes through waves, And I mean, I just saw the other day that Breaking Bad was trending on Netflix. I mean, it's such common sense, and I think a lot of these streamers, they know that they have been getting away with not paying people just fair wage, and now it's time to pony up, and that's just one of the things that we're fighting for.
Okay, let me give my take here real quick, then Vitaly, I'm gonna let you go, then Carlos. I've watched Breaking Bad like 5 times front to back. I love that show. Love Aaron Paul, Jesse, best show of all time, in my opinion. He sounds like someone who signed a bad deal. He sounds like Scottie Pippen in 94 that can't get out of his deal. At the end of the day, he didn't negotiate equity in the show. He got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars per episode. I think by the latter half of the season, it's probably $1 million of episodes per episode. And he made his money up front. That was a media company that gave him a deal, no different than Michael Jackson buying the Beatles masters. And now when the Beatles get played, Michael Jackson's estate makes money because the Beatles don't own their masters. If you signed a shitty deal because all you cared about was the millions up front, tough luck, buddy. You're going on strike because you signed a shitty deal? I don't really see the logic here. So, Vitaly, I want to hear your perspective, given you're in this business. And does he have a point to be striking?
Yeah, of course. First of all, he's not striking for he didn't make the deal. So you got that whole part wrong. That's not his deal. Okay. This is
SAG. He signed a contract for money.
AFTRA. Hold on. No, he's part of SAG. He's part of AFTRA. SAG makes the deals. And in 2008 or whenever this deal was, I don't remember the exact date, they let the streamers basically not pay residuals because the streamers said that they weren't making any money, and this is all an experiment that can fail, and we're losing all this money. It's been 10, 15 years later. The experiment has worked out for certain streamers, of course, not all of them. They're starting to make money in this. We know everything is moving to streaming. So the way actors work is with residuals. SAG signed the bad deal, not Aaron Paul, by the way. This was back in whenever, 2010, 2008. So that's the first point. The second point is that he's striking on behalf of his fellow actors. He's not striking for himself to get more money. He's just giving you an example of what's going on. And I've had this discussion, by the way, on Twitter with people just lambasting me for like supporting actors. Okay. This is the way they make money. Regular actors. I'm not talking about Aaron Paul, who's a multimillionaire. I'm talking about when an actor does a job, he gets paid. You're right. It's $600 or so. The SAG minimum is around $600, maybe $700. I don't know what it is now. So that happens. That's 1 day of work, maybe 2 days of work for a regular actor. And then what? If that actor did talk and was a part of the thing, there's a residual, a very tiny amount that keeps coming to him for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And if that product goes away and nobody watches it, he doesn't get the residual. Okay. But if that product keeps making income, like Netflix is going to keep showing this show and people are going to keep watching it, why shouldn't he get a piece of it? He was an integral part of it. And this is the way the actors make money. It's not like me and you go to a job and we work 5 days a week for 365 days a year. A lot of these actors don't have that. Okay. The residual is how they actually can support kids. And
back really
all of this
quickly, he was paid a shit ton of money.
Once again, you're sticking on Aaron Paul, but he's there fighting for the other actors who are not Aaron Paul. He's going to be fine. He's fighting for everybody. He's not fighting for himself. You understand? He was giving you an example.
So you're saying Netflix should pay a residual to all these actors for eternity?
I bet you anything they will. Whenever this gets solved, they will pay a residual. That is exactly what's going to happen.
Well, hold on.
I just want to explain what the problem here is. The problem here is that the original deal that the Actors Union made was at a time when it was very easy to calculate viewership and how much money the residual should be. So in other words, Breaking Bad aired on TV. They know how many commercial breaks they had. They know the ad revenue that was collected, and they know the viewership. So it's very easy to calculate. Well, that episode, when it aired at this time, made this much. And out of that, you get 1%. The problem is that now you have Breaking Bad episodes on Netflix where you're not paid. Netflix is not paid any more or less if someone watches Breaking Bad or not. They're just paid a subscription fee. And this is the problem. You have a subscription fee where you're paying for access to a library, but you're trying to give people residuals on what people watch per month. When if somebody watches all of Breaking Bad in a month, or watches nothing, Netflix makes exactly the same amount of money. The problem is it's going to be very hard for companies like Netflix or the streamers to figure out how much do we give you? Because in other words,
That's silly. Spotify does it all day long.
No, but hold on.
70% of the profits go to music,
but
music
Spotify has
producers.
ads.
It's a silly
Spotify-
argument.
Right,
Spotify-
right. No, even
Spotify
the
has
advertising
ads.
revenue also goes to the record labels.
But that's what I'm saying. Spotify has ads. So unless Netflix is sharing, unless there are like ads built into it, built into the viewing of the episodes, it gets very hard when most of their money comes from subscriptions. You have to look at the ad revenue. That's what it comes down to. They have to know that you watching that show, they were able to show you or present you an ad that turned into a sale, or they got paid from an advertiser, and then they can share that revenue. That's what it comes down to. It's always ads, because you cannot. They only make, say, $15 a month from one viewer.
Wait.
They're giving you a
So
cut of the
so
subscription.
Elon wants to get rid of ads and he wants to share revenue. How is he doing this? It's kind of amazing if he gets rid of all the ads.
He wants to do that. He's not doing that now.
It's a
but
subscription service.
what he
They
wants
know
to
exactly
do-
what they make.
he
They know
wants to
exactly
do
who's
that by
watching what.
having you
They know
pay-
how many people are watching what.
okay.
This is not hard.
No, but Vitali is right on this. They take the cut from the premium $8 a month and they split
That's
it up.
what I understand. I understand. They want to, and they want to do that so that they're not leveraged by the advertisers on
Correct.
as to what they can and cannot put on the platform. That's the ultimate goal there. Okay, because they could still make money on the ads, but they just don't want to be beholden to them and have what happens on other platforms. Like, there was a big thing with Meta the other day, 250 million. It's nothing, but they lost like 250 million because advertisers are now pushing them to censor certain material, and they're saying, if you don't do this, we're going to pull our ads. And he doesn't want to be held by the same by the same leverage.
So here about Aaron Paul and the whole thing. First of all, Netflix wasn't the original person for Breaking Bad, right? They didn't ask for
AMC.
No, it was
Bad.
AMC.
AMC. So AMC was the one that negotiated everything on behalf of Breaking Bad, and I think the residuals were getting from AMC. But the thing is, once it moved to streaming, those residuals stopped. Now, the key is, and this is where the transformation of the entire industry is happening, where people are going into the streaming business, and it's the same thing that's happening to Disney, to Paramount, to Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, this is going to sound really fucked up, and I don't know if anyone here knows.
I know what he's going to say. I can feel it. Go ahead.
What am I going to say?
I feel like you're going to say it. Fuck Aaron Paul. This is what happens.
No,
AI takes over.
not at all. No, what the businesses are doing is taking content completely out of the viewership, which is really bad. So here's what happens. You have this new TV series that comes on, let's say Disney Plus, Hulu, or whatever. Everyone loves it. It's great. Everyone watches it whenever they want. But, viewership eventually dies. Now, here's the thing. If they kept it on Hulu and all this other stuff, you still have to pay residuals. You still have to pay licensing. You still have to keep paying these, things to keep them on there. But what if you took it off the streaming completely, put it on a shelf somewhere, and now use that thing as a loss and say, look, I lost all this money. I'm going to use that as depreciation against my income, right?
Oh, you're saying
that
streaming
is
companies? What you're saying, the streaming companies?
They're all doing that right now.
Yeah. But wouldn't you make money if you took it, because you're licensing it, so you're still it's not on the shelf, it's being licensed for content.
No. So that's the thing. Once you license it and the license expires, instead of renewing the license, you're just taking it, you're putting it on the shelf. You're not showing it anymore. So there's no residuals because there's no one else watching it, right?
But hold on. In the context of AMC, they keep licensing it to Netflix, so they keep getting money from Netflix.
No, for now. But the thing is, Netflix will eventually say, you know what? Breaking Bad is great, but we don't want it. Put it on the shelf. We don't want it anymore. And so now what happens is that content, unless you go to like a third-party site and you buy the episodes or rent it, that's the only way to really get it. So a lot of these businesses, what they're doing is, let's say you have a movie or a TV series that's made specifically for streaming. They'll stream it for 30 days or whatever, and then they'll take it off completely, or they'll even write off the asset completely and not even show it. And they'll use that as a tax write-off. Like, it's a really crazy thing that's happening in Hollywood right now to save money, where basically if you go to like Disney, if you go to Warner Brothers Discovery, like David Zaslav, do you guys know about this, or am I the only one that's
Hold on?
No, but I think, Kris,
before you leave the topic, you're confusing two things.
Yeah, you're
One
confusing me a lot. What's your
if
point?
Netflix, hold on, if Netflix doesn't show this program, there's no problem. Aaron Paul doesn't need to strike about Netflix not paying residuals. As soon as Netflix is showing, or Hulu or whoever, they're showing the show, these actors are going to get residuals. As soon as they do this negotiation, you watch what's going to happen. And you guys might have a different take to this, but I think they're going to win this. And the writers are also striking at the same time. At the end of the day, we want this content, right? I do. Maybe AMIT doesn't want it, but I want good movies and good TV shows and good actors. They're going to make a deal where these guys will be getting their residuals of some sort. I don't know.
No, I agree with you, but
it actually is part of. Okay, the studios came back with a. First of all, this is not going to get solved this year. None of these strikes are going to get solved this year. Some of the execs on the streaming and the studio side have been quoted as saying that their goal is to just starve these people out. There's actually a really famous actor that had to put his house on house for sale because he just can't afford to make payments. So you have to understand that the studios can stay strict longer than the actors can be liquid, and all of the writers can be liquid. So they are going to continue to squeeze them because the subscriber numbers have not gone down as much as they thought. The actors and the writers felt that without any new content, subscriber numbers would go down. Well, you see quarterly reports, they're not going down. So
hold on, to be clear, Carlos, do you think Aaron Paul, yes or no, do you think he deserves a residual when Netflix replays Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Okay,
Chris, what I'm saying is,
Chris, do you think he deserves it too? You think he deserves a residual when Netflix plays it?
No, because he already made.
Okay, so me and Chris agree. You and Vitaly.
Oh, no. Hold on. Let me just say,
Aaron Paul did not make the deal. Do not confuse these things.
No. I'm saying, okay. I'm saying Aaron Paul, because of the whole thing with AMC, that was a whole different time. You can't go back and rewrite contracts. That's not how it works. But going forward, these guys are absolutely right, saying that, hey, we need to figure out how to do a TV series where people can actually make a living wage. The other here's some major problems that they brought up, which I totally agree with. Before, when you did like a series run, let's say 26 episodes, it will run for half the year. Right. So basically every time that it would play and everything else, you got a good check. You got, the writers would keep getting paid. But now what's happening is everything is released. Like all 8 episodes are released on Netflix. Everyone watches for like a week or 2 weeks.
But then they get paid up front.
You would essentially get the problem.
I don't see what the issue is here.
The problem is that it's very difficult to translate. It's very difficult to parse out the amount of money that a specific streamer made off of a view on a streaming service than it is on television, because on television, it's a blocked out time. You know the viewership, you know the ads. You can tell the company, the Ford, hey, that ad that you put on that Breaking Bad break was shown to 25 million people, let's just say. And that allows them the pricing power to charge more for ads during that program. It's very difficult to parse that out when it's a streaming service. So, I mean, look, just share my screen because I actually posted some of this.
I'm going to share it. And not to mention, not only is it difficult, the business models will die. Spotify hasn't made a profit in 14 years because they can barely take the $10 a month they're getting and split it across all the artists. So the idea that happens in media, that's going to be horrible.
I posted this on Discord. So the studios came back with an offer, and the WGA rejected this offer. So if you look at this, this is the offer that they made them. Let me see if you can see this.
Click on the photo itself. There you go.
Right.
Perfect.
So
you see that?
Significantly higher compensation.
Carlos is following Coach Strap. He's a Palantir bull, man. I knew he was a Palantir bull. I knew he was a Palantir.
What are you
bull.
talking about?
Closet Palantir.
Always go back to Palantir. All right, look.
By the way, I'm doing Palantir daily streams. They're starting again 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel. All right, go ahead.
All right, so they proposed. This is what the studios proposed to the WGA: the highest wage increase for the WGA in 35 years, a compounded 13% increase, basically $9,800 a week to $11,000 a week. Highest budget residuals. Okay, that's what they offered. A new compensation for development. The writers will be guaranteed a minimum of 10 weeks of employment. This is to basically extend the length of time that they would normally work. It also has clause. Here's the AI protections clause. This is where it gets interesting. Artificial GAI produced material is not considered assignment material when determining the writer's compensation. So I don't know if it's just so small. I don't know why we can't see it. So in other words, content that part of what the writers were freaked out about is that the studios would then use AI to supplement some of the writing. What they're saying is that they can't do that, or they have to be upfront about when that's being used, and material that's created by the AI is not monetizable, right? So they can't penalize them for using AI. But then there was another clause in here, which was, to me, the biggest one. Let me see.
So while you're pulling that up, if I'm a studio executive, doesn't it make all the sense in the world that if ChatGPT can get good enough, this large language model, to write a whole script for a show, that I just don't need the writer? I still need the writer to edit it, but I don't need the writer to originally come up with it, and it still makes good content. Isn't that?
That's the second part of this, and I wasn't going to jump to that just yet, but part of the in the contract that they offered, right? The counter offer that they offered, they said that Netflix, Disney, all these streaming companies would work to provide actual viewership numbers. This is the first step in order to be able to monetize actual viewership numbers, the same way that you have on YouTube, that really granular data of when did a viewer watch, how much did they watch, how long were they there, did they click through, like all of those things. And the fact that if they do offer ads, say 3 ads within the program, the fact that they can send different ads to each person and it's not the same ad means that they should be able to get around the same, if not more, revenue, right? The second level of this is that they will eventually replace all of them. The studios don't like to be told what to do, and as much as, look, studios are a business, they see the products as much as like bricks and shovels and if
it's good content, that's it. They don't care if it's creative or not.
Really, exactly. They are not creative. They are there to make they're there to make money, and they see them monetizing a library. What's the input cost? What's the output cost? That's really all they care about.
That's how YouTube thinks of us. That's it.
That is literally how they think of us. The algorithm doesn't care if our content's good or not. It determines whether we're good or not by what people.
So I want to point out, by the way, the reason you go to Netflix is because they make Squid Games and all of these shows that we all want to watch, and these are great shows with great writers, with great actors. The fact that you're diminishing it in the industry, very sad, by the way, because these are the people that are going to create this content for the next 10 years at least. So the studios will have to make a contract, because ChatGPT is not going to write all their shows right now. It's not happening today.
It's not about writing.
So the contract will be made.
It's not about
protect the writers and the actors, and I'm thankful that is actually happening.
Okay, you're arguing you're arguing a point I'm not making. What I'm saying is, if you don't think that these companies right now are working to eliminate these problem people, whether it's writers or actors, I'm telling you,
100%.
Already,
of course they are.
They are already working to do. I sent you a video. Maybe I should even just.
No, I agree. The boss will always want to eliminate a worker. That's just the way bosses are.
Absolutely,
that's true, but that's not going to happen in this case. We're going to need these people to still give us everything we actually want to watch for the next decade. Okay?
Do we actually need those people to make the next Squid Game?
I think you're giving. I think you think they're more important in the equation than they are. You really, I'm telling you, the advancements that they're making on
that's an editor working. Okay.
Yes. Because even me, you would think that, say, even me, I understand that you can train a computer to do this stuff, man. I'm telling you, you can. In the same way that Netflix.
Right, I'm not going to argue because
I'll give you
a lot of people who aren't in the film industry, and I work with the actual directors and producers on set.
Right. This is
You're not going to train a computer to do what goes on there.
Delusions of grandeur.
The talented people that I work with, a computer's not going to come in and I'm just going to take it.
Wait, but Vitaly, how can you believe in? Hold on, Vitaly, how can you believe in this grandiose metaverse that's going to replace everything, but you can't replace in replacing actors? You can't believe in that.
Look, a lot of these things are going to happen over a long period of time.
But it's going to be 20 years from now.
The way you people make it sound like this is today. Like, this is such a long process. It's going to be absolutely insane how long
I'll show you something.
All right. I think it's more important to talk about one thing real quick. The ad-supported tiers of certain streaming services are becoming way more prevalent. So it's almost like we're going back in time and getting cable TV again.
Here's the funniest thing.
Valid point.
The craziest thing that the entertainment business did is convince you that they didn't want you to cut the cord. They absolutely wanted you to cut the cord because now they have access to granular data on how to monetize you further with ads. So they absolutely want this.
And that is the bullish case for Disney, because what's happening is
and commercials
do that. But the thing is, Disney
and the regional banks.
These robots need to be in a REIT somewhere.
Disney raised the prices. Disney raised the prices significantly on their streaming service for their ad-free tier. The reason why is because they realized they were getting a shit ton more ARPU, or average revenue per user, with the free, not the free, but basically the lower cost subscription with targeted advertising. I'm telling you right now, Disney, combined with all of its content libraries with an ad targeted supported tier, their DTC business is going to explode in the next couple of years.
Chris, I'm really confused on this, because you said you agree that the actors, you agree with Vitaly, they need the residuals. But if you're on the bull case of Disney, shouldn't you be on the side of Carlos, that Bob Iger is trying to milk as much money as possible and not give these guys royalties?
Wait,
No,
okay,
If
wait,
Disney-
wait, wait,
if
wait,
Disney
wait,
has
wait,
to pay
wait,
them
wait, wait.
royalties,
Hold on.
that's
Before
not
you,
good.
before you answer that, I just want to clarify what my actual position is. They're going to make a deal, and they have to make a deal, but they're going to squeeze the writers and actors as long as possible. We're not going to see a deal till after the new year. They're going to squeeze them as long as possible so that they can get the best deal possible, and they'll figure out a way to do it. I mean, even them in their counter offer, they offered the data. Here's the data from Netflix that's telling you how many exact people are watching Breaking Bad. Now we just have to negotiate. Well, what's the rate? What's the take rate? How do we do this? And then how long do we what are the terms? So they're going to have a deal, but on the back end, they are working with ways to replace these people.
The other thing is the studios are trying to get big tech out of streaming. Okay. And the reason why is because big tech can basically sustain losses for a long time. Netflix right now is profitable. They can sustain losses longer than Disney or Paramount or Warner Brothers Discovery. The problem is if you have so much consolidation in the space where the only ones that are left are Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple, you're fucked. Because then try to negotiate with them 5 years from now, you're going to have a way tougher situation to negotiate. So right now, a lot of the studios are saying, look, you need to come to the table with us, make sure that we don't fail. Because if Disney fails, if Paramount fails, and all you're left with is Amazon Prime, the next time you try to negotiate anything, Amazon is going to fuck you hard in the ass. So don't give us such onerous terms that we can't make a buck and survive. That's the other thing that's happening. So right now, there's actually a push by Paramount, by Warner Brothers Discovery, and Disney, and the other independent studios to say, look, if you want to negotiate a private deal with Amazon, that's different. But do not try to use their logic and put them into the same equation. Because right now, Netflix is part of the conversation, but Netflix is just like, hey, we should wait for a better deal. And Netflix is the only one making money. The rest are losing money hand over fist.
So real quick, before I play your video, Carlos Vitali, what are your kind of final thoughts on this? What do you think will happen in the next year?
Oh, no, they're going to come up. Look, at the end of the day, Netflix has the reason they're not in pain right now because they have enough content. And I think they make enough for like a year of basically something was always in the can for the next year to play. But after a certain point, to Carlos's point, that they need a deal just as much as the writers. But will they squeeze the writers and actors? Of course they will. Every 10 years, they squeeze them. So this is not a new thing. The AI is not the new thing. They're just it's bosses wanting more money out of a deal. It's the same old story. And eventually they're going to come to the table and there's going to be some sort of a deal where everybody is not happy. That's what's going to happen.
Well, the other part of it is that they will find a way of taking this stuff in-house. So right now, a lot of these are day players. These are people working on a contractual basis, and eventually they'll just bring it all in-house. All of them are working on
that's fine too, but the issue is not that. The issue is
but I'm saying, once you have writers and everyone's on staff, and you're basically moving them from show to show, you're a salaried worker. You're out of this residuals thing because you're just a salaried worker with your 401k and your standard. You're a corporate worker at this point.
But first of all, that's fine. By the way, even when I'm working as a cinematographer, if I do get hired for a certain job where they hire me as a W-2 employee and it's 5 days a week and I know I'm getting benefits and I'm getting health insurance, but that does not happen to everyone who's a freelancer. So as soon as that starts happening, cool. They don't need the residuals. They're actually salaried workers.
Oh yeah, they'll bring them in house and they'll make them part of the internal production company, and you'll get moved around. But then the argument always becomes, if you were freelance, this is the constant balance. If you're freelance, you make way more money on the front end than you do. This is why like people that are like the day players get paid so much. This is why those actors or those writers are getting $9,000, $11,000 a week, because they need to make all of their money in 10 weeks and they might be out of work for X number of times. So they have to invest their money properly, and the residuals help carry them over from job to job.
These are not good investors, by the way.
They're not good investors. But I do want to play, just share that video real quick. This is something that up until something like this came out was a very, very expensive process. So what you're seeing is an iPhone being used to capture motion data. So it's mocap. They call it mocap, motion capture. Prior to something like this was a very, very expensive process. I know a guy that does this, and he spent thousands and thousands of dollars on the rigs that you need. You need a special suit that can track the people. You need cameras in 360 degrees to be able to track the people, so you can get the motion capture data that you can then imprint onto a character in 3D. This is now being done with just an iPhone and AI. This replaced a lot. This displaced a lot of people. Now, this is still in its beta, as you can see. It's still in its beta with a single iPhone. But I mean, the detail with which the Apple Face ID can capture your face in order to recognize you as good as, say, a fingerprint is so good that eventually you can actually use that Face ID technology to capture actors' performances, like you saw in Avatar or you saw in Lord of the Rings. What I'm saying is the technology is getting so good, and the AI is actually supplementing a lot of what used to be done with traditional hardware, and also that was traditionally someone's job, the role of a person.
Can you bring up Dominguez D, his thing? This is what's actually terrifying, by the way, that if the writers and the actors and all these creative people don't figure out how to, like to Chris's point too, how we can keep the, let's say, conventional business model for them alive, then you have 3 companies that own this, and then they will squeeze the fuck out of everybody, and that's bad for everything. That is not great. That is very bad. Even though I'm an Amazon investor and a Google investor, it's just bad for everybody.
It is sad, but it's the way it's trending. It seems like you can hold it off forever, but it's the way that it's trending. I mean, they have AIs now, and there are rules about how you can use it in terms of AI text to video. Like right now, they don't allow it to create people just yet, because then you could forget it. In an election cycle, that would be a disaster. But eventually they'll figure out a way where you just literally write your script and it will generate the movie. And then you can bring in 1 or 2 people to tweak it at the end, or just use another AI to tweak it at the end. It seems like crazy, because you and I are like the guys that are like, we're doing this every day and we know how hard this is. But the reality is, it was as much of a leap to the people that were working in analog, like tape to tape, or editors that were cutting film, to have this idea that you could cut and edit movies completely digitally on a computer. It was as big of a leap for them. And it's unfortunate, but this is where we show our age. Like to someone
no, I agree, it's happening.
They completely see this happening. You know?
I just think you forget that everything takes 20 years to play out, and not. So we have some time before we have to really worry about this. But Amazon taking over is much more serious concern.
I don't see how it doesn't go that way, because to Kris and Amit's point, like they just have so much money that they can, again,
they can lose it for as long as they want
and outlast everyone and just take the shit. And then once they become the only game in town, that's what happens.
Well, this is why we should want workers like the actors and writers to win, because they need to keep fighting that good fight,
right?
So we don't suffer 10 years from now. We're not thinking about the suffering yet, but it will be bad for all of us.
And we were talking about it in the chat, but you're already seeing some of this start to happen in the adult entertainment. A couple of guys made some fake AIs on Reddit and made a fake OnlyFans using AIs, and they got tons of subscribers. And then that AI chatbot can actually respond to everyone individually 24 hours a day, and you can subscribe to basically
guys
have
are just degenerates.
AI chatbot as like your girlfriend. I mean, think about what this is. So people are now, and then it could generate photos of this AI person in the exact way that you like, or make.
But that's kind of my point. Is like I sympathize so much with Vitaly saying, but the technologist inside of me is like, this thing's not stopping. If they can replicate porn, they're going to replicate Squid Game one day. Maybe it's 10 years from now, but I don't know if we have workers' rights in this context. I don't know if we stop tech for workers' rights.
Well, I'll go so far.
Do you understand? This is why they're striking. That someone has to.
No, I get it.
Someone has to actually stop working and force their hand. Because if they didn't force their hand, we know what would happen immediately, right?
But you know what, though? But are we, and the question, the 10th man of this, to ask yourself, are you being the Luddite of the 21st century? Are we trying to force people to stick with horses when cars are clearly better at doing this job?
No, no, hold on.
Are we trying to stick with
we still need the actors and the writers, so you keep assuming you don't need them.
No, you do. No, Vitaly's right. You do, but just maybe not to the extent.
All they want to do is pay them less. Okay, this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
We want to pay you less.
Okay.
And we want you to work with ChatGPT. Okay. We want you to do those 2 things.
Right.
And that's cool.
And they don't want you to work with ChatGPT.
And you don't need insurance because you're going to be okay. Don't worry about that.
But understand, NVIDIA makes GPUs right now that are capable of creating photorealistic environments, indistinguishable from real life. So why do you need, if you're a studio head, now imagine you're running.
Have you watched an all AI generated movie?
But hold on.
I have. But it's not that good.
Right now, this is what I'm saying.
I agree with you.
Like, I understand that you're like, well, there's the captured image, but if you're a studio head now, you're running the studio, and they're like, look, we can make this movie on a fraction of a budget if we do it all in CG. It'll look photorealistic, like the first Final Fantasy. It wasn't great, but it showed you where that technology could, where the technology
could go. CG budgets have $100 million budget.
And you see,
these aren't cheap
Avatar. You look at something like Avatar.
$2 billion.
A lot of it was created A lot of it was created in.
That's a good point. Avatar was fucking AI.
Dude, it's one of the most
whole
expensive
thing.
movies.
Yeah.
No,
But
but
what happens but the price goes down.
Yeah.
It keeps coming down. Technology gets better and better. It keeps getting down.
not for James Cameron. He keeps.
Well, he's
spending
always
more
going to
money.
spend. Listen, he's always going to spend $2 billion. It's got his minimum, right? But you could argue that $2 billion is less than what it cost.
He
before.
spent 460 million on this Avatar.
Oh,
on
it's
se- on Avatar
wait, I think with the ads, with promoting it, it was probably
ads
up
always
there.
push it up.
Yeah.
Real quick, did you guys like the Avatar Way of the Water better than the first one or no?
I didn't see it actually.
You didn't see
I liked it a
Okay.
lot.
liked
I don't remember if it was better, but I liked it a lot. Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Chris, you saw it yet? It's on Disney Plus. I know you watch Disney every day.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
I liked it. I didn't think it was better than the first one, but it was all right. It was not.
First one was okay. I still think James Cameron is probably one of the main reasons I went to film school. Was
Wow.
that guy.
Big
And I'm not kidding. Even if you read any of the screenplays that I've written, a lot of them followed techniques and methods and his philosophy on screenwriting, character development, story arc. And I think the Abyss director's cut, the 5-hour version of that movie, or 4-hour version of that movie, is one of the just greatest pieces of cinema ever. It was so damn.
Did you see his documentary in 2012 of going to the Titanic?
Yeah, it was all right.
That was pretty cool.
I just started watching with the kids the original Terminator just a couple of days ago.
The original Terminator is still such a phenomenal movie that there's been. I mean, there were so many of those good movies made. I see a lot of this popping up on X now. People asking, like, having that nostalgia. I mean, the original Terminator and the original RoboCop were just such incredible.
Yep.
Even though they were incredibly violent and gory, they were just spot on in terms of capturing the culture, telling a human story. Masquerading it as a sci-fi. They're just brilliant, and you just don't see movies like that anymore. You just don't.
I wonder
see
why.
We need to make Amit. We need to make sure we incorporate a little bit of politics into our conversations because
I'm down.
next year, yeah. Let me explain why. Next year, the largest amount of ad spending ever is going to be happening because it is a presidential election year. Super
going after the money.
We put DeSantis in the title, Vivek in the title, all that ad money coming for the.
So I mean, the reason why I said that is because a lot of advertisers, they make a shit ton of money, especially local channels. They make a lot of money during election years. This is the first year where there's going to be so much AI targeted advertising that could actually be really bullish for anyone in the media landscape. So a lot of these streamers, that's why they're really pushing for ad supported tiers right now. Because imagine right now you have the demographic. Yeah, Trade Desk.
We got to do some DD on that, Chris.
We got to do some DD on Trade Desk. So just. I know people are saying don't get political, guys. Yeah, I know. I'm all I'm saying is from a monetization standpoint.
We've all never disclosed our beliefs. We kind of just talk about it. We haven't said if we're right.
Put in the chat right now.
I'm just going to say DeSantis. Wait. 10 minutes.
Put in the chat right now what you think each of our political leanings are. I took the political test. Did you guys take the political? Yeah,
basically just put our name and then Republican or Democrat, left or right, whatever.
Right. Where do you think our political
or anarchist
political leanings are?
Anarchist.
This podcast sponsored by Marianne Williamson.
Communist.
Yo, no. When the debates happen, we need to live stream the next Republican debate, Democrat, if they ever do a debate, and like react to it live. That shit's fun, bro.
But I also think it's not clickbaity because there are certain things that actually relate. Like they're telling you what the policies that they want, and those policies are going to govern the companies we invest in. So it's not a mid far right. He's like burn it all down.
Oh my god! All four of you are independent. Italian
no.
I'm Democrat. Carlos Republican.
Chris
Republican.
Oh my
Democrat. Interesting. No one disclosed. We got to always keep it a mystery.
No, actually,
all right. Yeah,
I'm if you want to disclose, go ahead. You want to get open to that? Go ahead.
No, I think it's more fun. And take that political. I sent it in the chat. Take the political test because I have my results.
Yeah. To me, it's about the issue. No, to me, it's about the issue, man. No, to me, it's about the issue. Is
that a MAGA hat? Turn that hat around.
Turn that hat around, Chris. That's a MAGA hat. Hold on,
this is Carolina, bro.
You know, Chris has a "Make Palantir Great Again" hat, and he was gonna post it on Twitter to trigger. He never posted it, but
that'd be funny. That'd be funny.
Ray thinks I'm the Antichrist. Jeez, like really, we went all the way. We're not even far right. I'm like off the scale.
Carlos is founding fathers, which isn't represented by either side.
This is crazy.
Chris is Republican. Chris Trump, Libertarian.
Someone thinks Chris is middle left. Make Palantir Great Again.
That's funny.
You got to post it and trigger people one day, bro. You got
it is a Nazi.
It is a Nazi.
Whoa. Okay, some of them I think are jokes, but that's pretty funny. Chris flip flop in Tesla.
Oh my gosh.
See, this I don't understand this about this whole flip flopping thing with even with politicians.
Triggers
bro.
him so much.
That's
Actually,
Vitaly.
it
That's
really
all
does,
Vitaly. You
man.
can thank Vitaly
Because
for that.
I'm not a dogmatic person where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna toe
He's
the
like,
political
I just
line
sold
no matter
DeSantis.
what, man.
I sold out.
You know?
He's like, I did a
I'm
spread
gonna
on
short that- I'm
Vivek.
gonna short that
Two
guy.
exit. I'm moving on.
Yeah, Q1 Vivek's gonna be, Vivek's gonna do really well, but
No, but if you were gonna flip flop on anything, it's good to be politics because you shouldn't be one thing for every
Yeah.
issue. Like that's the worst thing to be.
It's like, dude, if someone comes up and they're in your political party, but their opinion is completely jacked up, you should say, you know what, I really disagree with this guy, but I'm a Republican, so I have to vote for the guy. Like, you really want an electorate that's like that?
what's funny is
Come on.
that
They
that,
are like that. What do
yeah.
you mean? They are like that.
that is what's happened. I mean,
That's sad. That's sad. I'm
I've,
not like that, though.
I've equated
I'm not.
I've equated it before that somewhere around between Obama and Trump, I think sports politics became sports teams. So political parties became sports teams, and you basically had to excuse everything. And there was someone, I forgot who I was watching the other day, that was equating that to, like, a lot of people don't think that they actually do any personal evil, but when you start to make excuses for something that you know is wrong simply because it would be seen as going against a party that you've been affiliated with, that is when you start to get into this idea that, like, the regular person is actually participating in the evil that we say we don't want to see in the world. You really do have to call it. You really do have to call balls and strikes, because ultimately that sort of integrity of saying, look, no matter what, whether I agree, even if I agree with this party or this person, this particular thing that they did was wrong, it's still super important. And I think in an election year, it's even more important. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
Yeah, Dan
That's
Cummings.
it for us.
Dan Cummings, new comedy skit.
All right, guys. Well, I am going to be on my channel in about a couple of minutes to basically announce the winner. If you guys want to join me, you can. I'm going to post the link in the chat.
I got the link already. I got you.
You did? All right. Thank you.
Make sure you
Alright, cool.
subscribe to Chris. I'm trying to get him to start back up again, so he needs some motivation to start back up. And
All right, thanks, guys. This was a fun one.
this is awesome, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Like
You
and
know.
sub. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m., baby. Good night.
Later.
Bye.